Hi, Susan here. I'm going to talk today about dyeing your cloth for your rag rugs. And I have dedicated equipment for dyeing. So I never use these for food because I'm using fiber reactive dyes. I think they're reasonably safe. You don't want to breathe the powder, but once they're in liquid form, they're pretty safe. But I have dedicated equipment that I use for my dyeing. The weather's really nice today, so it's going to be a good day to go outside to my garage and cut fabric strips. We had 2.2 inches of, not 2.2, we had 2/10 of an inch of rain last night. And I don't know if you can see on my window here, but it's covered with mud because we also were having dirt storms and tornadoes. There was a tornado about 5 miles from my house, so very exciting. So the dye that I use Dharma dyes, and it's a fiber reactive dye, and I get it from Dharma Trading Company. Let's see if I can get this to focus. And the two dyes that I used this time were, let's see, Bluebird and Periwinkle. You can get it in smaller quantities, and most of the dyeing that I do is for smaller quantities for scars and things, but I'm going to start dyeing my sheets so I can have the colors that I want, or yard goods. You need the dye, and the Dharma Trading Company site has really good information sheets for it. You need washing soda, which you can get at your grocery store, and you need non-iodized salt. So for what the dyeing that I did, for 1 tablespoon of dye, you need like 3 cups of salt. And for the 3 sheets that I did here, I kind of guesstimated that I need 2 tablespoons of dye, so that meant I needed 6 cups of salt, which is about 3 containers of non-iodized salt. My washing soda, I've got poison on there. I made the mistake of buying baking soda instead of washing soda. They're not the same. But you can actually put your baking soda in the oven for 2 hours at 400 degrees and turn it into washing soda. But you can find the instructions on how to do that, but just save yourself some time and trouble and get washing soda. So the 3 sheets that you see here on my washing machine were all dyed with Bluebird dye. This sheet is cotton. This sheet is probably a cotton polyester mix, and I'm guessing this sheet is all polyester. They all 3 dyed, but you can see this color here is more what your dye sample, so cotton sheets dye really nicely. The blend dyed pretty nicely, but of course the color isn't the same. And then this one, it's actually a little bit darker than probably what you see in the video. And I don't mind that you can still see the flowers. These sheets were white, and I just didn't want all that white, but I don't mind at all that the color shows through. This sheet was dyed with periwinkle, and you can see the flowers still show through. So there's 2 other sheets I haven't folded up yet for cutting. I followed the instructions for tub dyeing. A lot of times I do my dyeing out in my backyard, but and I wasn't real picky that the dye job came out perfectly even. So it was fine with me if the dye came out kind of mottled, but actually it came out really nicely. They tell you to wash your sheets first, and I didn't even wash them first. I just dumped them in the washer with the dye. And followed the instructions for when to add the salt, when to add the dye, when to add the washing soda. And the one other thing that I think is a good thing to have is the there's a special soap for dyeing. Let me see if I can find it here. This is Dharma brand. Sorry about all the moving around. Let's see if we can make it. This is professional textile detergent, and it's really good at fixing your dye and getting all the loose dye out. Now, of course, you can use our old friend RIT dye. If you don't do a lot of dyeing, you won't get the vibrant colors that you can get with the fiber reactive dyes. But the fiber reactive dyes are designed to go on cotton, and so you're going to get the really great colors with those. If you dye wool, you need acid dye. So there's two different kinds of dyes. If you use the RIT dye, it actually comes with dye in there for both wool and for cotton. And so when you rinse it, if you're dyeing cotton, all the dye that's intended for wool just washes out and washes away. So it's kind of a waste. But if you're only going to dye like once or twice, and it's easy to get your RIT dye, I'd go for that. But the fiber reactive dyes are, really give you really great colors. Okay, so now I'm going to sign off so I can go out in my garage and start cutting strips of fabric.